Welcome back to another episode of the Thorn Room. It's your boy Dre
My name is Mike.
and my good friend Joe Torres.
Come on, let's go. Excited to have you, man. Thank you.
All right, Joe. So, for the viewers that don't know you, can you give us a little insight into what life was like for you growing up?
Okay. Well, I'm from like North Central Washington, so up Wenatchee, Chelan area. Grew up in Chelan. Family of 6. So I got 3 brothers. We're all 1 year apart. My dad is he's in he's a resident now, but he was legal growing up. My mom is white, so I'm mixed race. Grew up in an orchard with immigrants, Hispanics. Chelan's a really small town, so it's you know everybody, and that was pretty much what I. That's my little background.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, during your time in Chelan, like, what was that like growing up?
Chelan it's a nice town. Growing up, it was just small. I think there's it's right now it's a tourist town. Back then it was more of a like a farm town. There was orchards everywhere, and that's where my dad settled. And so we lived in an orchard actually. My dad was the mayordomo, like the guy that runs the orchard. So had every year we'd have different migrants come and stay behind our house in the cabins, and so and then we'd work in the orchard from when we were young, 12, 13 years old, help my dad out. But growing up, it was easy to get in trouble. There's not much to do in a small town, and I always I think gravitated towards we had a lot of free time, and so just people that were just hanging out because my mom was working, dad was working. I think I can remember getting in trouble from young, but it wasn't bad. It's just growing up was I think I don't know how to explain it, but as I got older, there's too much free time because there's no there's no supervision. You get out of school and parents aren't home, so then you're like, oh, why do I need to go home right away? So instead of going home, I just wouldn't catch the bus, hang out in town until walk home. Home's like 4 miles away, maybe 5 miles, but and
A 5-mile walk from home?
oh yeah,
From
yeah.
school, I mean?
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was something we're used to. You can walk the whole town in 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So that walk wasn't much. Then I think I got in from 12 years old, started hanging out with like skaters and stuff like that. And then as I got older, around 12, 13, 14, that's when I started getting involved with my cousin from Wenatchee. He didn't have a dad, so he would come and visit, and then we would hang out with him. Mm-hmm. And he was he was getting involved in gangs, and so we would want to be we want to be like my cousin, and then eventually from there I think it happened fast. Eighth grade, from eighth grade, eighth summer hit. By ninth grade, we were fully
Full-fledged game.
Dark life. Yeah, it was quicker than I thought when I think about it. But and it was.
Do you think that was just him bringing you around his homies and his partners? Or,
it was that, but
or what do you think captivated you into that lifestyle?
I thought about it before, and I think it was a combination because I started dressing like him, and then we started because he's only 1 year apart from me, and by 14 or 15 when I got into that, I had already been getting in trouble because I had a lot of free time. I was always every year from 6th grade, get suspended, 3 days, 5. I knew the routine: 3 days, 5 days, 15 days, or something like that, and then I'd make it through the school year. 7th grade, 3 days, 5 days, 15 days before expulsion, make the school year. And then, so that was pretty much routine. And then um, uh, the gang stuff started when like we started hanging out with him, his friends, and Wenatchee was a lot bigger area and had a lot more friends. But my younger brother was hanging out with, because he was getting in more trouble than me. He was hanging out with people in Chelan, where we're from, and the people he was hanging out with were migrant farm workers. They would come up, but um, they would come up for the season, but they were like involved in gangs. Like not the people my dad would have work behind us, because those were just hard workers. They'd come, do the job, go back to their families. But these were people like our age that we didn't know they were our age, because shit, they're by themselves already.
Yeah.
You know, they're coming up working, and so I started hanging out with them, and it was literally like we were just we skipped football practice or something like that, because I was in football, and we're like, let's go to our homie's house. Who, I mean, he was a friend, and it was like it was odd because we weren't hanging out with this group for. I had hung out with like 2 or 3 times, and the people that I used to hang out with a lot was from Wenatchee, because I hung out with my cousin, and there was a group of 3 of us, right? My friend from my grade, my younger brother, and me, and they're at the park, and you know they just switched on. It's like, hey, you're gonna get rushed in, you know? I was
They're like, they didn't ask you like, are you down? Like,
no, they told us, you know.
they just told you.
And then uh, my brother looked at me. He's like, "I'll do it. You do it." And I'm like, "I don't really know these guys." And then the other my homie's like, "Well, I'll do it. You do it." And so I was like, I've always been like the first one just to jump. So I was like, "Fuck it," you know. Hadn't thought the process through. I wasn't
Yeah.
thinking about it. And then so we went me, my brother, my homie, and so it was us 3, like that night. And then went to school the next day, like nothing, all beat up and stuff. And I lasted from there maybe 6 months in school, because we were 8th grade, 9th grade. No, I made it through 9th grade. I made it through 9th grade, and then the first month of 10th grade, it was pretty much done.
I So I guess what is it like? What was a point, right, that you decided like, this life is not for me? Like what was that? Because everybody has that
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
right?
It was
Most everybody.
it was multiple times, and I had made the decision, and like I had already been jumped in. I I 10th grade example, like I was in football. I was supposed to had the option to go to the football game or go to a party with all the homies, and I'm like thinking this process through, like, nah, I don't need to do this shit, you know. Like the night before, they had done a bunch of stuff that I didn't agree with, and I ended up like saying, you know, I'm not gonna do that. Not saying I didn't agree with everything all the time, but there was some dumb shit they did, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do this. And so I decided not to go, and they all got arrested at some point that night. And I was like, you know, I'm going to go to football. Like, and so I went to the practice. I think it was the day before, because it was practice. But then the next day I went to a party, and then back at it, you know, like nothing. So that was young. That was like right after I got into it. And then things happen. You get locked up. Didn't think about not being in it for a long time, because whole life was that. Like, I'm not in school. I'm like, got kicked out at 15. I think I was 15, 9th grade, 10th grade. I was 15 years old. And then,
You said you got kicked out of school or out of your
yeah,
house?
I got kicked out of school, but I wasn't really living at home. I was from 9th grade. Like, I was, I'm surprised I didn't get like truancy, because yeah, I was just like, I would go to school, check in, and just leave, you know? I don't think I was getting truancy because I was still passing all my tests. Like, I wouldn't do any of the homework, but I would still get my good enough grades and passing the test, because I wasn't like a dumb kid. I was just pretty, I think school was boring, you know, because like I'd go and then ace my test, not doing my homework, get in trouble, get kicked out of class, and then but after I got kicked out of school, didn't think about it like much, just go on with my ways until I got locked up, and then did like I don't know, sometime like 6-7 months or something like that. Got my GED like right away. Like so, I got locked up, and at 16, because it was 15, turned 16. No, I turned 16 in juvie, and I got my GED like a month after. And then so right when I got out, I I was still like when I so getting locked up didn't really scare me. It should scare a lot of people. You're young, you're locked up, you don't know anybody. I just happened to get locked up, and my cellie was my cousin, and so it just felt like the one I grew up with when I was looking up.
We
to.
just had boot camp.
Yeah, he was the one that's the one that was like, and he eventually, instead of people that he was hanging with, he got rushed into our neighborhood. So like, it was like a family thing. It's like all my cousins, like 6-7 cousins, all my brothers, everything. And so getting locked up, it was with my friends are there, my cousins there, my little brother's there, and so wasn't. It's like a playground,
Yeah, it just felt like a regular day in
Yeah,
your
and
life.
I mean, there's people that didn't have that there. You can tell it's a lot more scarier because you don't have that there, and it should have been scarier than it was, but it's. And then my parents would come and try to set us straight, and I told them not to worry, that I'm doing good, but you could tell they were like, stressed about how calm we were about it.
That's one thing I was gonna ask. Like, what was your relationship with your parents at this time, right? Like,
Yeah.
you, especially because if they're working in these fields, that means they're hardworking people.
Yeah.
They're trying to provide a life for
Yeah.
you. And so, what was your?
So while I'm doing, I guess relations always been good with my parents. Like it's never been bad. Like I think they covered for us too much. Like, they didn't want to see us get in trouble. They know
Yeah.
we're doing bad things, but they didn't want to see us get in trouble. So they would cover for us when maybe you shouldn't have covered for us. But I was still working. Like at 14, I started working at a drive-through, and I worked from 14 on while I'm doing all this. And that was how I think a lot of the stuff was not looked into my parents, because I'm going to work,
Yeah.
and my shift was like, you're a kid, so your shift's only 3 hours, but I'd be like, I'm 6 hours, I get off work at 6.
Yeah.
Or I mean, get off 6 hours later, but it's actually 3 hours. And in Chelan, like it was Lakeview, you get off at 10 o'clock at night when it's closed, and then I'd be like, I'm going to get a ride home from one of the other workers, but from 10 o'clock you're out, and then I'm out to like.
You're like, I'm gonna go kick you with the homies.
Yeah. There's nobody giving me a ride home. I'm walking home, like at 1 in the morning.
Never happened.
Yeah. So and so that it was a lot of stuff that they didn't see, but then when they saw it, they didn't cover it up. They sort of like
Pretend like they didn't. See it.
yeah. They pretend like they didn't see it, and so that, I guess that like emboldened us a little bit more.
I think for me it's interesting that you brought up, like, when you get incarcerated and you go into an institution of that nature, a normal person would be terrified or like have no idea what to expect. But in your case, it was like open hands, like, hey, we got a spot right here for you. The family's here. We're gonna take care of you. Everything's good. And so instead of having that effect, it was just like kind of like encouraging you.
Yeah, and then when I did like the longer stint, they sent me up to Okanagan, and it just so happens like Okanagan's like another hub for my neighborhood, and so I'm I'm there with my friends too that I've known, because when I turned 15 and I found out my cousins from like Bridgeport and stuff, they were all involved with the exact same, not just like the same style, but the same neighborhood, So it was a long stretch of area from like Wenatchee, Chelan, all the way up to Omak, and so anywhere we went. So then they sent me up there. That should have scared you, but now I get up there and I know like 6, 7 people already there, you know, and so it wasn't what you wanted to be, but it wasn't like, oh God, I'm, you know,
Yeah.
terrified.
Right.
But so on to the topic, when did I like look at it? It was like a slow process. It never was like, I had moments where I thought, you know, like, I don't want to do this, but those moments were like just fleeting, you know, like you see your friends, hang out, go do that, and then you get into some deep shit, and then you're like, God, I don't want to do this, but then it just goes. But eventually, I don't think it really clicked until after I got married, you know, like, and I got married at 22. This is all from like 14 to 22, you know, or 13, whatever. Like, and 12 o'clock, really 12, and I was first time in trouble, but with the law. But yeah, when I got married, I got married, and then I was gone like within 6 months. I'm like, we need to go. Like, if I'm gonna be married and I'm here, I'm gonna keep getting in trouble. So
Yeah.
so we got married in August. By March, I moved to Arizona, and pretty much from there it was like,
A fresh start.
yeah, yeah.
So how, I guess, how does it affect your parenting, right? Like how your
Yeah.
parents, does that affect how your parents like say, you know what, like I'm gonna pretend like these things ain't happening. Does it make you want to more be like,
Oh, I'm hands on. We're
yeah,
very hands on because they I tried to see like where did all this happen? Why was I able to do all this? And to me, it's because I had that free time, and my parents didn't have the time to be like, where are you at? You know, you're supposed to be home at this time. Well, they're not home to check on that. There was no cell phones at that time, so if we're not home, then they're driving around town looking for us. But it's hard to find a kid. You know, you're in somebody's
yeah,
house. You see the car coming. You know.
And it's actually one of the
Yeah.
things I admire about Joe and his wife is like they homeschool their kids. They're very involved. They're excellent parents, and I really admire that.
Yes.
but do you think it, like, does it do the opposite effect, do you think, and make it like overbearing, or do you think you found the fine line,
Well,
like,
I mean, you want to think you found the fine line. You don't know. I see my kids
Is there a
sometimes.
fine line?
Yeah, and I try not to be overbearing. You know, but I got my wife there too. She didn't go through like the stuff I went
yeah,
to. Her story's different because she wasn't like involved in none of this. I didn't meet her until I was like
yeah,
19. But yeah, she. So I think it works because her background's a little bit different than mine. I don't think I'm overbearing. I just think that, you know, too much free time is not a good thing.
I agree.
So we
100%.
100%.
Yeah,
we homeschool, but we try to get them in like sports,
uh,
music classes, taekwondo. Like they're all four of them are martial arts. Like every day of the week, they're there right now. They're
yeah.
Monday through Saturday, and you know they Saturday if they want to go, but Monday through Friday, pretty much they're there for like 3 hours a day.
Tell you this much, man. If I can homeschool my kids, I
Yeah.
would homeschool my kids.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody like has a luxury,
Yeah.
But if I could, dude,
Yeah.
I think it's like one of the best ways to go.
And I mean, we didn't plan to at first. You know, we didn't plan on having kids, and then we decided to have kids, and then we had, you had your first one that goes to daycare, you're working, and then we had the second one, and the cost was like, damn, like everything I'm making is going to daycare. I
Yeah.
might as well just take care of the kids. And so I was lucky enough. I worked for Amazon at that time, and they let me work a night shift. So we made that decision that I would work night shift and stick with night shift, and we just take care of them. So they never, only school they've gone to is like a pre-K, daycare, and then pre-K, and then after I started working like night shift and taking care of them the day, we just put them in each one in like a pre-K school, just so they could associate, understand how to be with kids, and then from there it's just sports, and then from there we decided like when they got to school age, why put them in school if we can do this, if they want to go to school, yeah, like we've told them every year, like if you want to, you're free to go to school. But I think they like getting up at 8 o'clock, 8:30.
Who does?
Yeah, yeah. But yeah.
So I guess what what do you do now for work?
Real estate.
Real
Yeah.
estate. Okay. So how did you go from being in the lifestyle you were in and going to where you're at now? Like, what was that transition like?
So, like, when we realized, like, I got married, and like, I don't want to, like, can't be here. Like, I knew, like, things were always happening. And if you're in town, people are always calling you, like, hey man, this going down, I need you to roll through, or I need you to, and like, and I got married, and then we took off to Arizona, and then I lived there for 5-6 years, came back, and it was like I never left. Like, we came back to Wenatchee, and within like that day, it was like, like I went downtown. Police officers still, know me and harass me like for the first day. And a lot of it's valid harassment, because they knew who you were before.
Mm-hmm.
But
They still had that
yeah,
image of
yeah,
the old you.
yeah. And honestly, like, it's hard to, like I never, like I didn't say like I'm done with it, I just separated myself. And then, so if I put myself back in that spot, I never had like a outing with anybody that I used to grow up with, So if I go right back in the same neighborhood, it was like the same thing. Like, even though I'm not doing it, I'm still there. Shit's still going down. So like, I didn't even take like 2 months. And I'm like, we gotta, we can't live here.
We gotta
We
get
can't
out of
live here. So
Yeah.
we moved out here to Tri-Cities. And then we just came out here for one day to look for a job. We both got a job like in a day. Like, and then, that was a good enough buffer that you didn't have to deal with any of that, and yeah, and it was just like living in Arizona. I think it's good to get away. Like, you don't realize how like trivial a lot of the shit is that you grow up doing
Yeah.
until you're like just an hour away, 2 hours away, that it doesn't affect you, And I'm sure people would call me, they'd be upset and stuff, but like, hey, I can't do anything. I'm in Arizona, or I'm over here, That's
I think I remember seeing something on a meme or something where it talks about most famous people, they end up dying in their own city, in their own
yeah.
neighborhoods, environments in which they were raised.
They go back and then
they go back
Yeah.
and lose everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I moved out here, and you'd get the itch to go hang out. I'd go hang out back, like, I have my family's in Wenatchee, my in-laws, we go, and I'd go and hang out with some friends, and I'd be there like what am I doing here? Like the conversations are totally different than what I'm having out here. Like, the people that are, stuff that's going on at the hangout, I'm like, just didn't feel like I belonged, and they're like, this is, I mean, it's not like you're nervous feeling. It's just like, this is not what I want to be doing. And so I think that urge to hang out is just a little less each time. And I think that's sort of how I separated myself. It was just like a slow process. It wasn't like I'm done with this and then I'm not.
How was, now during this whole process, like, how was your relationship with Letty, with your wife?
It was rough. It was rough. Yeah. Like, we got married, moved away, and it was just us two, so we got to know each other. But then when we came back to Washington, and now I'm going out with this friend, we're gonna go hang out, and then and then having, I'd say it might have been like closer to 6 months before we moved back, but that 6 months was not a great 6 months, and so it was really tough. So as soon as we came back out here, it got better right away. Yeah, but yeah, it was not. It made it rough, because she's used to having me all the time, and then now I'm back over here. So and so wants you to roll through or whatever, and she said, "Where do you gotta go? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, and you can't tell her everything, and then you're hiding stuff from me." Well, I'm not hiding from you. It's just it's just like, but I think separating myself was like the best decision.
Yeah. I think separation sometimes is good, you know. Separation helps you find yourself sometimes too.
Yeah.
So
Hey, my boy
Yeah.
said separation equals elevation.
yeah, at times
Sir.
it does, man.
Yeah.
At times it does.
Yeah.
So then, but what got you guys into real estate? Like,
So real estate. So I was working night shift. My wife was working for a nonprofit, um, and our kids. And then she was not happy with her job because she doesn't get to see the kids all the time. And I'm working like getting like no sleep, and so we looked at like what can we do where we can sort of control our schedule and be around our kids full time, and so we can because they're young for very it goes by really fast,
yeah, for sure.
and so that was, you know, I decided like let's do real estate because see if we can do that. So I got my license and um, took off really slow because she's great at meeting people. I was still stuck in like my my hard to communicate with people. Like
Yeah.
you grow up, you don't talk to somebody if you don't know them. And if you don't know them and they're looking at you, then it's like
It's a problem.
And so trying
So
to so trying to switch that mindset, it was hard for me to get like I had like the feeling that I still pictured myself as who I was, and so I got my license with real estate, but it was still slow because I'm like have like imposter syndrome talking to all these people,
It's
and
like a new world. and
yeah. I'm
I
I'm
feel
in a group
weird.
of other people that are have totally different backgrounds, and so I'm standing there
Like, what am I doing?
yeah, I'm in a room talking to nobody. Everybody's conversating. So
Yeah.
it took me a while, but Letty was going to get our license, and we're like, you got to quit your job if you can do this because I'll just stay with Amazon. I'll do real estate part time, but you go full force. And then she quit her job, and she stuck with her job for like 4 or 5 months, like as a it's like part time because they loved her. Like she's always been like full dedication to what she does, so she is really good at anything she does. So they wanted her still, so they would still ask her like, can you work like 20 hours a week or something so we can like transition. But then she quit and then took off pretty quickly with real estate, and then that's how we both work together doing that.
Nice. It's great. I don't know if you go to church or believe in God, but because I don't believe in like coincidence, right? But it's crazy. You're sitting here saying that you were in a room, not really talking to nobody. Now you're on a podcast telling your story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's sometimes how God works in your life and the things that you go through. It's like you don't realize it when you go through it or why you went through certain things, but later on in life you're like, oh, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too religious. I believe in like the idea, but like I don't go to church or anything like that. But I just believe in being a moral person, being honest and trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Teaching your kids like don't be a shady person.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right from wrong. you know, what a good
right.
person
Yeah,
is.
just make the right decisions, and we have these conversations a lot, and we do affirmations with them, and so it's like to try to instill like a solid mindset.
yeah.
Yeah, because we like from their music to what they're watching, we watch a lot of that stuff to make sure that it's not what we don't want to get wrapped into the brain, because a lot of that I feel has the big influence on your mentality too.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. I feel like social media
Yeah.
and the things. I mean, you see it like I seen this video about this little kid. I think they were like 10 years old, and they're watching this video on YouTube. It's on kids YouTube, and it's a video, and obviously it's supposed to be screened and supposed to be all this stuff,
Yeah.
but it was about the little kid and telling him to hang himself.
Oh, I've seen
And
that.
it was showing it like, yeah, and a little boy hung himself,
Yeah.
thinking that he was doing, what I mean.
It's
That's
like-
why I tell you,
yeah.
you have to be careful what
Yeah.
what your kids
We don't
see,
get like our kid. My daughter's 15. She just turned 15, and she still doesn't have a cell phone, no socials, like no social media.
That is impressive. I just want to say.
Yeah.
She's got an email. She's got an email now, and she talks with her friends all the time through my wife's phone. But we don't. When she's planning on doing running starts, and so maybe that conversation might come up. But
Yeah.
we like, we want to stay away from that as long as we can because
Yeah.
the young kids are not meant for that. Like I can scroll through that and I can tell what it's doing to me when I start getting the feed of this violence. I just start muting it because it like even then it has an effect on me and I know it's having an effect on me. So kids can't like see that and like process that it's making them feel a certain way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's such a big issue, really.
Yeah.
Like people, I don't think people really understand just how much impact technology is having
Yeah.
on everyone, not just
Oh,
the
yeah.
youth, like
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
But I also think it does come down to, like, you seem like you're a person who instills morals in your kids, right? They know the difference between right and wrong, and I do feel like a lot of it comes down to, because like I allow my kids, they have phones, they have tablets,
Yeah.
and they go on this stuff. I mean, we watch what they go on. They're limited to the things they do.
Yeah.
But I also think for me, like my kids go to school and the
Yeah.
teacher like, man, they're such well mannered, man, they sit here and they care about other people, they like, so my daughter was actually just in school like teaching people about God, giving them Bibles, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like, which we don't ask her to do any of that, that's her choice,
Yeah.
but I feel that it does come down to like a lot your parenting, you know what I mean, like kids do the things they do a lot of times because their parents don't,
Yeah.
like, hey,
They're not
we need.
involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not always, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
sometimes you can't help it. Like you said,
Yeah.
your parents seem very involved,
Yeah.
but you still chose to do.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it's
Ooh,
not always,
that brings up a great question. It just popped in my head right now. Do you feel maybe perhaps the difference was just how much you built that relationship with your kids versus like your parents were involved, but do you feel like maybe you did a better job relationship wise, I guess?
I mean, my kids are so young, so they have to answer part of that,
True.
But I, I, you know, I don't know, because I've never. I mean, relationship wise, I've never had a bad relationship with with my parents, but I think it was more of
The free
just
time.
just the free time. I think really that's when I try to like process it. Like, where did I decide all this? It was like it was all the free time, and I mean, some free time is good, but like unsupervised free time is not for us. That for
100%.
me at least, that's why I think where it's easier to get steered wrong. And sometimes they got friends, like even the sports they go to, they want to connect with the kid, and we see that like, okay, so maybe it's not a good influence, and so we don't just say you can't hang out with that kid. We just let's go do this instead, and so that'll just fall away for now. We'll see.
Not me, man. My girls,
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, even my boys, like there's certain people
Yeah.
that I try to tell them, right? I try to be as honest as possible with
Yeah.
them. I say, because if I'm not honest with
Yeah.
you, somebody else is gonna tell
Yeah.
you, like, whatever it is you need to
Yeah.
ask me, come talk to me and we'll
Yeah.
have this conversation. And there's kids, I'm like, sorry, baby, you can't hang out with them. Like they're not a good influence. I'm not like, when they're at school, I can't tell you
Yeah.
what to do, right? You're at school, but I also want you to understand, like, you're not going out with your friends. You're
Yeah.
not going to your friend's house. You're not, there's certain, I have rules and that's what it has to be.
Yeah.
But I also want you to make these choices, right? Like, so
Yeah.
if you're at school and maybe that's a kid you shouldn't be hanging out with, sometimes you have to learn the hard way, but you really got to understand, know who you are
Yeah.
and know the people that you should surround yourself with,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think that's good. I don't think that issue comes up as much for us because it's homeschooled, and so they, like the people that they're around are it's mainly in like sports settings or like martial arts, and that's, I think that's been a good foundation for them there because they're communicating with young kids, like teaching little kids, because my daughter teaches it sometimes. Both of them now actually are helping teach, my son too, and all the way to adults. So they talk to all different people, and the people that go to that are very like-minded. So it doesn't come up as often for us to like, hey, you can't hang out with that person because they're not going to school and seeing you know, because at school you see everybody. You
Yeah.
see the people that don't have great families at home, and sure you see that a lot. Yeah, but the kids see that, and so our kids don't experience that negative. And I think about like maybe, you know, they should see some of that because they're eventually going to see some of that, you know, when they go on their own. But we're just hoping we're just like give them the right path and just
I think by then it's
Yeah.
like your hope is you've instilled enough
Yeah.
morals and values, and you know, giving them the best direction as a parent that you could possibly
yeah,
give.
yeah,
And you're still in their corner no matter what. You know?
yeah.
Yeah. So I guess one of the questions I have for you, so like what are some of like I guess your hard points in life that you had to overcome? And what did it teach you?
So I think very like the difficult situations like been tough. So I skipped over a lot like from the time I got like involved in everything. I actually took off to California when I was after I got locked up in 16. I turned 16, got released, and then left to California, like just on a whim, and with friends that supposedly they're going to come back in a week. But I ended up living there for like 2 years, and that was a really rough part because like I literally got there, and from the day I was there, like pulled up at the house, and like it was like nonstop like gang stuff. Like I pulled up, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get a free ride to California, go hang out with people I don't know that are from the neighborhood that we're gonna come back.
I'm
and
going
forth.
on vacation.
Yeah, and I hadn't told anybody, and the day we pull up, somebody runs in to the apartment that they're living at, and all my friends, I guess, they were migrant workers. Most of them were legal, but and pull up, and it's like, hey, we have to go to the park, and I have no clue where I'm at. Just woke up from the truck, and it was like it was on from there for like 2 years nonstop.
Was it like a trap house?
I wouldn't say trap house. It was just they were workers, but they were also gang members, you know. So we didn't slang or anything, but the guy that I went with was more he was more of a hustler. You know, he would like bring people up to work, go back. Like that was like his hustle, like charge people for driving, you know, driving them, and then but it was like a house with like 8 people. We all lived, all guys living in a house, you know. Like what a lot of people do once they graduate, they live with a group of friends. But I was 16, and
Hey, the opposite of a dorm.
yeah,
Like in
yeah.
college.
I was 16, moved to this 3-bedroom apartment. Like I got there and right away, I mean, I have no clue where I'm at, but quickly realized that we live in the wrong part of town. You know, like, and I am not allowed. Like, I couldn't just leave and walk to the park if I wanted to. Park's 3 blocks away, and it's like, like to get to the park was a struggle. Once you get to the park, it was okay, but to get to the park was a struggle, and it was like every day until I so that but I think that like prepared me for like like the stuff I go through now. Like anytime I'm going through something difficult, I'm like it like my wife's like, how are you so calm?
Yeah.
Like this is not bad, you know, this is pretty good. It's like I'm like going through like
It's
just
different kind of hard. Huh?
yeah, it's a different kind of hard. You know, it's like that mentality of dealing with like serious situations all the time. Like now when I have like a serious situation that's paperwork or a difficult conversation with somebody that's not happy with the transaction, that like it's just doesn't affect me on the same way. You know, I'm like, oh, like they can be upset and angry, and I'm like, she's like, how did you stay calm to that whole conversation? Like, it's just a conversation. You know, and I think it built the resilience. Like, you know, like life is hard, that it's hard for everybody. Just like if the hardest things you ever done is like, oh man, I'm out of milk, you know, like you all have everything you want, and that's hard for you that you don't have that's your hard. So my hard right now is not as hard as I've had it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
About perspective, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Where's your perspective in life?
Yeah.
Like, because somebody can always have it worse than what you have.
Yeah.
So, um, what are some of the things that you would tell young people, right? Young people,
Yeah.
because now I feel like Tri-Cities, when I first moved out here, I've been out here for about a little over 10 years, right? And when I first moved out here, it wasn't what it is now. Right now, I feel like the high schools and it's all being filled with gangs, and
Yeah.
you know, it's like these kids want to be like think that it's a life to live. You know, it's hard to understand at a young age. And obviously, you growing up around it
Yeah.
and where you're at now, what's something like some type of advice you would want to give to them, like on how to find their way out and what it looks like when they do?
So, I'd say like don't be afraid to change. Like it's not a bad thing. People are like, I ain't never gonna change. You know, like, this is who I am. You know, and at your core, if you're I guess you are who you are, but you don't have to be who you were yesterday. You know, like you can just be like, right now I'm not gonna do that. You know, I'm not gonna make that decision today. So it's like,
It's okay to change.
yeah, it's sort of like the serenity prayer, you know, yeah, like that process. But it's okay to not. It's okay to change. Change is not a bad thing. Like, you know, you think like if you change, you're not being true to yourself, but you're only you're not. You're always going to be your decisions, I guess. I don't really know how to say it. Like, just because you were a gang member or are a gang member doesn't mean you have to always make those decisions. You know, like that is who you were. That's part of your story. But don't be afraid to just like turn the page and try something new. Like, yeah, or even just separate yourself. You know, like if you have the chance to go somewhere else and explore it, you realize really fast like none of that matters. Like
It's a big world out there.
yeah, it's a big world, like night and day. Like you're like, I was in like one day, drove away, and literally from getting into fights like every day to like haven't fought like 20 years, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, life is so
Yeah.
much bigger than
Yeah.
the neighborhood, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot bigger than you think it is. You think the whole world is right there, but it's not. So like, just don't be afraid to turn the page, try something new. Like, it's it's uh, it's not as hard as it sounds, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good advice,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. No, I think that's amazing. I think there's so much truth in what you said. I think at the core of who we are, we're always gonna be that person from that block, from that neighborhood,
Yeah.
from that section, and the core of you will always be the same. But I think it's in our nature to evolve as people. It's okay, and we shouldn't be afraid because I hear it so many times like, "Oh, I'm gonna never change," or
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you switched up," or
Yeah.
"You changed up," like it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, no, actually, it's a bad thing that I stayed the same.
Yeah.
What am I doing as a 45-year-old man doing the same shit, excuse my language, right?
Yeah.
Like, that I was doing at 15 and,
Yeah.
you know, kicking it, drinking beers all night and not doing a damn thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no, the goals are changed. The vision has changed. I've evolved as a man, as a person. And I think it's important that people start to realize that.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's like the song Young and Reckless, you know? It's like when you're young, you don't see repercussions for your actions. You don't think about tomorrow. You think about the moment. You know, I know when I was out there doing what I didn't, it never dawned on me what can happen. You know, I never dawned on me like, oh, you know, your actions have repercussions and you can end up somewhere. You don't think about that. And that's what I think these young people, I don't think they think about it. I don't think it's like, hey, it's like, nope, I'm about now, you know? And when they see people change, it's uncomfortable for them because they don't understand that as you evolve and as you get older, there ain't nobody in jail that's going to sit there and be like, I'm happy I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they
Yeah.
all like the advice they give is like, try not to come back, stay out because once you're in, like it's just so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to that mentality too. When we were younger, like there is no tomorrow. I might not make it to
Yeah.
see 21. I might
Yeah.
not make it out the streets, and so then you live that life of I just got to get through the day.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like I don't care about the future. But what if there is a tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
What then, right?
Yeah.
You made that bed. Now you got to lay in it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think it's important that people realize, there is a tomorrow and it will come.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so
Well, we're almost at that time. It's about that mark. But the last question that we like to ask, right? What type of advice would you give to anybody? Like the best type of advice you were ever given or that you would like people to know?
Um, best advice I was given. So I mean, I don't know. To yeah, I think like think about that. I mean, I think it just goes back to that like don't be afraid to change. If to give somebody advice is just they're only gonna hear what they want to hear, but yeah, that's a tough one for me because I guess like what I tell my kids is like your choices matter. Like you don't think they matter. You live in the moment a lot of times, but your choices really matter. Like you have to every choice you make has a consequence. So like really try to instill on my sons because he makes rash decisions all the time. Like you have to think about what is going to happen when you make that choice. Like every choice you make, it's important. Like it can be really small, but your choices really matter. Like just make the right decision.
I think that's a powerful statement. It's crazy because in like 2 weeks I'm teaching the youth, right, at my church, and that's what it's about: power of choice. The choices we make, every choice, you make one choice, it's very easy to make it again, and you make enough choices, they become habits.
Yeah.
And that's what I really want them to understand. Like, so if you make enough right choices, you develop a lot of good habits.
Yeah.
You make enough bad choices, you develop a lot of bad habits. And the problem with habits is you do things and you don't even realize you're doing them. So I think that's great advice, man. So
hey, so I just wanted to say thank you, brother, for sharing your stories,
Yeah,
sharing
glad to
your
be here.
journey. We appreciate you for coming out here.
thank you, man. I appreciate it, dude. Good conversation. So thank you very
I
much.
didn't bore you.